Hi and welcome to some Kingsfield 4 gameplay. In this video we're going to play through the first part of the game and we'll finish up after completing the mines. I'll talk periodically about the story in the game and comment a little bit, maybe give some advice on how to deal with some enemies, etc. So playing as the main character, we are Prince Devian of Azalin, tasked with returning the idol to the Cursed Land. And we'll see a little bit more about the story coming up now in the intro.
The Cursed Land lies deep in a dense, colorless forest. Hidden within this land is an ancient city, once known to the forest folk as the Holy Land. Buried in the depths of the city, a warning was discovered long after the rulers have fallen. Grave misfortune will befall those who behold the idol that stares into the darkness. The idol, taken from the ancient land, led the kingdom down a path of destruction. The idol must be returned. Under a dark and cloudy sky, the Swordmaster led his men to the ancient land. The cursed land swallowed the soldiers, and all that remained was dark silence.
So starting off, we're going to pick up this herb, and this serves as our life in the game. And the expedition of soldiers we just saw in the intro, they came from the kingdom of Haladin. Haladin's King Lucian IV was presented with the Idol of Sorrow and made a permanent place for it in his throne room. After this, ominous clouds covered the kingdom and an unknown illness swept through. Finally, when King Lucian contracted the illness, the country was plunged into civil war. Haladin's sages discovered that the Idol of Sorrow was the cause of the unnatural disasters and organised the expedition to the Cursed Land to return it. This was led by the famed Swordmaster, and obviously we saw that they didn't return. So now we're just going to have a chat with our first NPC. I come from a region known as Yaren. My comrades have gone into the ruins. We were sent here to expel the evil from this land. You don't have much equipment. Let me give you this. My comrades have been sent underground into the ruins. While we were camped out, I got really sick. Who are you actually? It's useless to be hanging around here, so you can't be too important. Beware of the creatures, they're everywhere. And we're just gonna pick up this timber club and equip it. It's funny that he says that we're obviously not someone important when we're Prince Devian of Azalin. And so a bit of background on our main character. So our main character, Prince Devian, received the idol from the strange wanderer in the middle of the night. Devian is the prince of Haladin's neighbouring kingdom, Azalin, and chooses to return the Idol of Sorrow to the Cursed Land because of his friendship to the famed Swordmaster, and also presumably to prevent his own kingdom succumbing to the same misfortune as Haladin. Now we're just going to drop down here. We'll find some gear just up ahead. And before we hop down, we're just going to give a quick glance and make sure we don't land in the lava. Wouldn't be the best start. And now to the left, we're going to find a pair of boots. We'll pick those up. And we'll continue on to this section of ruined wall. And further on ahead, we're going to see a helmet. Now, when we get closer to the helmet, we're going to want to be a little bit careful because the wall crumbles when you go to grab it, so I want to get close but not too close. Try again, that wasn't quite close enough. And of course, if you're not careful, you'll take a lot of fall damage, which we want to avoid. We want to conserve our health for later on in the game. And we'll continue back the way we came. Turn here to the right, and there's a chest, I think, that holds a herbal potion. And there's a broken staircase. We're just going to jump down here. And there is a chest behind me. And there's not enough room to squeeze in between the fire and the chest, so I have to go around a long way. Just hopefully give me a second there. There we are. And I'll equip these gloves. I'll find the right one now. Eventually. There we are. And before we venture outside, I'm just going to go over to the stone statue. And these are the save points in the game. We'll see a few scattered around, but not too many. And I'll just warn you now, I'm a very overly cautious saver when it comes to games. There's absolutely nothing worse than spending an hour or two getting through and having to lose all that progress just because we forgot to go and have a look at the statues every now and then. Going to increase my health just before we go outside because of all that fall damage. And then we're going to deal with our first man trap. So they're called man traps or man eaters. And this is the first enemy that we face. It's a mutated Venus flytrap that moves stretching forward to deliver a powerful bite. Now they do go down with a couple of swift hits, but with any enemies in the game you just kind of have to time their attack, let them snap, dart back, give them a smack. Now you do want to wait for your stamina bar to build back up, so you do some damage. If you don't wait, you kind of drag the fight out and there's more chance of taking damage from them, so just take it slow. And we'll deal with this one next. And you'll see me from time to time kind of just glance around and make sure that no other enemies are sneaking up to get me from the side. You know, the aim is to take them on one at a time, really. Minor Cemetery. So we can see the bridge is out, so we won't be able to go this way. We'll pop or pick up some more of this herb and we'll chat to our second NPC. I never realized that it was like this. Is this the only route? My wife awaits my return on the other side. And so you saw there, it took me kind of a second to get the right position. When you want to interact with NPCs or even objects in the game, you want to make sure that you're in the right position or it won't work. I'm just going to deal with the other man-eaters that are in the area. I don't think we see these anywhere else. They're kind of just confined to this space. And they're easy enough to deal with and good for experience points kind of starting off. So next we're going to just go up here to the right, deal with another one or two man-eaters, and we'll see that's where the helmet fell off that crumbling section of wall. It's quite dark over in the corner, so I can't tell if there's one or two. I'll just keep an eye out in case. Wait for the stamina bar to build back up. just pop the helmet on. Now I know the sign that we saw on the way in here said that there was a shop. I'm not going to go to the shop just yet because there are some other things that I want to do first, some more gear to pick up over the other way. I'm going to save again really quick before we go back the way we came in initially. And like I said, I'm a really overly cautious saver, so you're probably going to see me approach these statues a little bit more than you would if you were playing yourself. So we're just going to go back the way we came in at the start. I'll find the door at some point. It's quite dark. Sometimes it's hard to see where things are. And it does take a while to get used to kind of the slow camera in the game and the slow pace, but after a while we really don't notice it, to be honest. We'll go up to the left here. You see a beautiful lava pit, and on the right some ground you don't want to stand on because that'll kill you. And we'll deal with this monster. Just wait for him to attack, dart back a bit, turn around or whatever, and grab him back there. So with the beetles, we'll see a lot of these as we follow our quest. They're everywhere, running around underfoot, jumping at you and furiously biting. Beetles attack in a straight line, so slide to the side when they jump, then turn and slash them as they line up for another pass. So in this area there's probably 5 or 6 more beetles that we're going to come across, and I'll just deal with those and we'll eventually come across more gear as well. I suppose while I'm facing these I'll just give some brief background about the history of the game. So we know that we're currently in the Cursed Land, and that the expedition of soldiers tried to return the Idol of Sorrow. So the Cursed Land is an elevated plateau that rests at the edge of the Land of Disaster. Built at the top of the plateau are the remains of the ancient city. Many creatures aimlessly wander the ruins, sweeping past deadly fogs of billowing poison. Within the interior of the plateau was the original home of the forest folk. Legends depict the location of the holy city beneath the surface of the plateau as the final resting place of the mysterious forest folk. Due to tales of vast wealth and powerful magical items, many adventurers have sought their fortunes in the ancient city. Tales of instant wealth also spread to the thieves of the land, ever eager for easy gain. Very few who made this journey, however, were ever seen again, and now only the foolhardy and those without hope dare to visit. So once we finish dealing with these two, there's some health just up here on the right in the corner, and as you can see there's a hole in the wall up ahead that we'll venture into just afterwards. Oh, took some damage there, I wasn't quick enough. And we're just going to go in here. We're going to see a gate that's locked and 2 chests. And we have our first sword, so I'm going to swap over from our club to our sword. There we go. And we're going to go back out the way we came in, and directly across from us is a small tunnel. And in here we'll find a breastplate just behind a beetle. So just a few minutes ago we were talking about the land of disaster, and we mentioned the forest folk. It's believed that the forest folk existed long before the race of man. They avoided living in direct sunlight and were nurtured by the shadows from the forest canopy. They made their home beneath the ancient city. Their technology, backed by their innate understanding of the magical arts, allowed them to create wondrous items far beyond the abilities of humans. They're a lost race now. Only legend tells of their achievements and gifts to the world. The forest folk's caverns, once teeming with beauty and an abundance of life, are now infested with monsters of decay and ruin. And now we're just going to follow this tunnel out. I'm going to go in here to the right, just make sure I didn't miss anything. Don't think I did. Nope, we're all good. And we're going to go back out towards the palace patio where we faced those first beetles. And so the thing is, in this game, it's not the kind of game where you can clear a whole level. You just have to fight the enemies once they do respawn. Not always in the same numbers when you face them the first time, but when you reface it, they might be less. Or just a few different numbers than there were the first time you went through. It's good for picking up experience points and leveling up, but you kind of always have to be on your guard. There's never a section that you can just freely run through without having to keep a lookout. I'm going the wrong way. Okay, so I'm going to follow this path up here to the right. And that, what we just picked up there was remedy. So that we're going to need that before we venture into the mines, because there is poison in there which depletes your health quite quickly. I'm going to go inside and just talk to the NPC in there before I speak to the girl that we passed. Not before getting stuck in the door. We'll try that again. There she is. Okay. Are you looking for a soul stone? The shaft is on the other side. Be sure to take some remedies from the glen if you decide to visit the shaft. The old shaft has been closed off. Be careful not to get lost. My husband hasn't returned yet. I hope he's safe. I'd find it very hard to get around because of my illness. I'd look for him myself if I could. I hope he returns safely. so she's not going to tell us anything else. Before we head back outside, let's pick up this shield. Then we'll head back outside and talk to that girl that we saw on the way in. This place is so boring. Even the dog doesn't want to play. I'm here to look after my sick mother. I really need a soul stone to heal her. I found a nice stone in a shack over there, but it's not a soul stone. Dad says a soul stone cures any disease. I hope he won't be away long. There's nothing to do, it's so boring. I'd be bored too if I was stuck there, to be fair. And just have a look around, make sure I'm not going to miss anything. And just what anyone wants to see in their garden. Little graveyard. And in this cave here on the right, there's going to be our next save statue. We'll pick up another bit of health. And quick save. Now there is another NPC nearby that is looking for a soul stone, so we'll go talk to him before we venture into the mine. We'll deal with this beetle first. So a bit of background on the mine. In its prime, the mine was a successful operation, yet several miners died in unexplained accidents. The miners built a graveyard for those who died in the mine, and people believe that this had something to do with the curse that came upon the land. So I know that we are speaking about the soul stones, but it was originally called the Rock of Life. So long ago, a traveller discovered a rock that appeared different from anything else he'd seen before. As he continued his journey with the rock in hand, something strange happened. The rock became suddenly warm and started to pulsate. Soon after, his body and mind became replenished, and later he found out that a lifelong illness he had been battling was cured. The word of this miracle spread quickly, and people from all over the land began seeking this rock, now known as the Rock of Life, or Soulstone in this case. The mine where the rock was discovered rapidly became populated, and people spent days excavating and searching for the Rock of Life. Monsters unexpectedly started attacking the people, and the mine was abandoned and sealed. And this is where we see our first slime. I found the best way to deal with these is to kind of dart forward on mid-swing, because if you dart forward and then swing, there's more of a chance of them doing some damage. So you want to go to the ruins? Well, that's bad luck. The creature's nest is blocking the path. I'd burn them out of the way like the forest dwellers do if I had their magic. Did you know the forest dwellers could infuse tools with the power of nature's elements? I'm told the healing spring ran pure H2O. Maybe they infused weapons with it. I've got a vial designed to hold pure H2O, or so they say. Do you want to make a deal? Miners used to dig for soul stones, but these days they're even harder to find. I'll swap my vial for a soul stone if you find one. Have you found one? Nope, not yet. So we know now that we're going to be looking for 2 soul stones when we go into the mines. And before we go to the mines, I'm just going to go up and read this plaque. Harmony will prevail when the earth and forest dwellers unite. And I see a room over there on the left. There's a chest or two, so I'm going to go in and grab those. And we'll see in this room we have a green slime. Pools of filth and muck, green slimes are nuisances. You need to be close to them to strike accurately, but this leaves you open for an attack. Use your longest weapon to strike. In addition, green slime can absorb poison. If you're poisoned, stand on a green slime to abolish it. And when we go into the mine, we're going to see red slime, and they're poisonous. So they're more of a threat than the green slime, and you can easily identify poison slimes because of their sickly red colour. Their behaviour is similar to that of green slimes, but when they hit, poison slimes inject a virulent poison. As with green slimes, use a long weapon and strike them from far away. One good heavy swing will do. With this sword it takes about 2, and like I said, I find it easier if you dart forward in mid-swing with the sword, and it makes it much easier, and there's a much lower chance of getting hit. And when we're in the mines, the less times we get poisoned, the better. Now I'm just checking to see if I picked up anything else that I wanted to equip. Nope, I didn't. Okay, let's continue. And because I'm overcautious, I'm going to quick save before we head into the mines, just because there's a chance that I'll die, and I don't want to have to redo any of that. Caution poison. So the first time that I came in here, there were about 7 of these. There's only 1 now, which makes it handy. And if when you're playing you come across 7 and you get poisoned, don't forget that you can stand on a green one and it will absorb the poison, which can be especially handy if you don't have a lot of remedies in your inventory. And now just before we cross this log, you'll see in the distance, there they are, there's 2 bloodbaths. So they're tiny flying creatures and are an annoyance. A good swing with any weapon should drop them. They're tough to hit because of their size and maneuverability, but swinging into a cloud of them brings down 1 or 2 at a time. They are fairly annoying to deal with. Catch one, eventually. And with this sword, it does take 2 swings to take them down. Now we can cross over. So I'm going to head to the right to the rest area and we'll come across our first zombie miner, or Walking Dead, whichever you prefer. Now they do vomit poison, so I found the best way to deal with them is to kind of get in close, get them to swing at you with the pick so that they step out of the puddle. Just like that. And I'm just having a look around because I was certain that there would be a miner in here. But it's quite dark in the corners, so it's hard to see everything. And the miner I'm looking for does drop a pick, so I want to make sure I find him. Oh, there he is. Same as before, get him to swing at you so he steps out of that poison. And now that we've equipped our pick, we're going to go over and break open these barrels, and we will find health in them the odd time. Some of the barrels will be empty. This one has some health. And I'm going to swap back over to my sword so that I can deal with the enemies in the next room. And I'm just being a bit cautious when I come in because I know that there's more than one. And I don't want him sneaking up on me on the side. Try and draw them closer. Pretty slow amble, but if they do manage to catch you on that wide swing, it does do a good bit of damage. And so as we can see, these are the animated corpses of slain miners. The living dead, or as I call them, zombie miners. They're slow until they swing their large pickaxes. They shamble along, their heads cocked back at awkward angles until they strike with deadly accuracy and great strength. They vomit a poison spittle that lands at their feet, making sparring with them riskier. Fire-based weapons are excellent against them, but you can take them down with anything. Just wait for them to swing and then catch them. Just like that. keep out. Grab this remedy. I'm going to swap over to my pickaxe because the game won't let you squeeze around the sign, so we need to get that out of the way first. There's another bloodbath. Can he get through there? I'm not sure. It looked like he was, but no, I don't think so. Okay, we'll swap back to our pickaxe, break that down, and then deal with him. And while I am dealing with the bloodbath, we give some other background information. So I know I mentioned that the famed swordmaster led the expedition from Haladin to return the cursed idol before it was handed by the strange wanderer to Prince Devian. So Septiago is a swordsman in his prime. He holds the position of sword leader and his skills are heralded as the best in the western region. He has the deep trust of his king and is respected by the people. Septiago led an expedition to the ancient city in the heart of the cursed land, hoping to dispel the misfortunes that have befallen his country. His scheduled date of return, however, has long since passed, and he has not been seen since his departure. The news that the swordmaster lost his life could not be contained, and the rumour of death is prevalent throughout the country and neighbouring nations. So obviously our main character, who is the prince of Haladin's neighbouring country and a friend of the swordmaster, probably feels more motivated to return the idol. And I know we talk a lot about the Idol of Sorrow, but this cursed idol was brought into Haladin, the kingdom of the Barren Land. It was offered to the king Lucian IV, and all that remains is the fact that the king liked it and he never let it out of his sight. As the sages of the kingdom researched the cause of the unnatural disasters that befell them, they found a link to an ancient warning that referred to the forest folk. According to this warning, there is a certain phrase carved in the ancient city stating, "Grave misfortune will befall those who behold the idol that stares into the darkness." And I know I'm rambling a bit about the background of the story and stuff like that, so if commentary, gameplay isn't really your thing, I actually will upload a version of this with no commentary if that's what you prefer. I know depending on my mood, I'd be the same. Sometimes it's nice to have someone kind of chatting away as they're playing, but sometimes it's nice just to have the ambience of the game itself and no voiceover, so I get that too. And as well, all of the information that I am sharing in this video, it's all in the manual in the game, and I know that there is a Prima strategy guide that's pretty rare as well. Now I was lucky, I found a copy of the UK PAL version of Kingsfield 4 in mint condition with the manual, and I was pretty lucky with the price. I think I picked it up for somewhere between 100 maybe €150, including delivery and everything. Now that was a few years ago, and if you were to check eBay now, it's gone up quite a bit, so it is a rare enough copy to get in the UK version, but the cover art is gorgeous and the manual has a lot of background on the characters and just the general storyline. Now there actually is, I came across an online version, and I'll link that where I found it. I'll put that in the description box below the video when I finished. And I actually also found a copy of the Prima strategy guide online, and that has like a bestiary and it talks about the items in the game and everything. I can put that link in the description as well. It's just very handy to have. Now personally, when I first did get this game, I followed the strategy guide for the first bit, but it ended up I did a different route and I didn't really like the way that I did it. There's just a lot of doubling back. So this is my preferred route. Now I just pick up all the gear that you can. I do the mines first and then I venture over into the cemetery, because at the end of the cemetery there is a chest and you can't break that open unless you have a pick or something. I think there's a morning star inside the chest, which when I did it at the time, I needed a morning star or a pick to open the chest, and I had neither, so I was quite annoyed at myself. And now that we came back up to the top level, I'll pop back in, save it again, and then we're going to venture down into the lower level of the mine. I'm going to just climb down the ladder. There is a miner down here that I want to talk to before I head into the poison part. Now we want to avoid that for sure, so I'll just squeeze an edge in as close as the wall as I can just to get around. So that's where the poison slime is. I don't want to go in there just yet. I'll go and find this miner that I'm looking for. That's blocked, nope. Ah, there he is. And you'll see that there is an earth stone there, just beneath him. If you're looking for a soul stone, you're going to need a pick. Fair enough. I just heard a loud crash, maybe a part of the shaft is caved in. I saw a light on my way here, so there must be people around. I'm busy, so only talk if you have something important to say. I think we'll leave him be for a bit. And sometimes when you do go back to visit him, you'll see another earthstone on the ground. He dies at random stages in the game. Sometimes if you open up that poison section of the mine, he dies quicker, I'm not sure. But I like to try and keep him as alive as possible. See how many stones I can get out of him before he gives in. And I'm just thinking about which way I want to go. Okay, I'm going to head back up the ladder, and at that intersection when we went right for the rest area, I'm going to head left for the lift, so that's just across the log up here. Here we are. And we have some poison slime, so I'm going to swap back over to my sword. You know, I got most of the way in before I got poisoned, so it's not too bad. This is the switch to raise the lift back up. And I want to break open this barrel and just see if there's anything inside. No. Okie dokie. Oh, nice. There we go. I'm just going to hop in the lift. And I know I mentioned when we were talking to that miner over there that he drops earthstones periodically throughout the game. If he lives beyond a certain point, you might be able to get a good few. Earthstones are very useful. A master craftsman can use an earthstone to upgrade a weapon's power, so if you do collect them, maybe don't sell them on at the shop when we do go there in the next video. You might want to hang on to some of them so you can upgrade your weapons later on when we start to face the more serious enemies. I'm trying to get him to step out of that, but it didn't work. And now my gold is stuck in there. I feel a bit cheated now. Oh well. It's not worth getting poisoned for it. I know there is another one lurking on a boardwalk over there. But I'll head up this way anyway. Oh no. Well, we'll grab that. Guess we know what that crash was that we were talking to the miner about earlier. Oh, I forgot that these sink. You might want to be a bit quicker. I can see him ambling about over there. Oops. I've gotten poisoned, so I'm going to quickly cure that. And down in this bucket we are going to want to pick up another stone. There we go. Ah, he got me. So as you saw, he did a fair bit of damage there with just that one swing, so I'm going to need to heal before I deal with him. And then clearly the lift is not the way back up. That was a futile effort. So I actually think I missed something in the first section that we went into, so I'm going to go back this way. Oh, yep, I definitely did. Look at that very obvious ramp up. Mystery solved. Okay, so what's next? I think I'll go in and see if he has any more earth stones for me. any. Nope, not an earthstone. Okay, so I think we can head into the abandoned part of the mine now. Before I face the big slime, I'm just gonna run back outside really quick and save it. I promise in the next video I won't save half as much. I went a bit overboard in this one. Because now that I have one of the soul stones, and the second one will find down the big slime, I don't want to have to go and get the first one and deal with all the zombies on the boardwalk again. And I've actually just remembered I do want to do one more quick thing before I deal with the big slime. We found one soul stone beside that poor miner who got crushed when the tunnel collapsed, and I want to go up and give this to the NPC up here, because as a reward her daughter gives us that special rock that she mentioned in our first conversation, which will be helpful in our fight against the big slime in the bottom part of the mine. I hope he returns safely. I'd look for him myself if I could. Okay, so I have to go into my inventory and pick out the soul stone. It's a rare soul stone. Why would you give it to someone you don't know? Let me rest now. Thank you so much. Please accept this as a token of my appreciation. Mother will be well again in no time. Do you know where my father is? What can he be doing? I hope he won't be much longer. Well, I certainly hope your father is the rude miner and not the squished one. So I'm going to swap back over to my pick, have a look around in here. Secret to the forest. I will have the key. I'll just have a quick look around, make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, we're facing our first Reaper. So they're mutated trees that act with a nefarious intelligence. Up close, they swing their branches, catching you with sharp thorns. At long range, Reapers cause their roots to jut out of the ground, similar to your upheaval spell. They use this attack when you run behind them. Dodge in and out, swinging any weapon. They're not a big threat, so you just avoid the branches and don't go so far away that it wants to ripple its roots out, I suppose. One thing is, when you're darting back in, make sure you don't run into it uncrossing his arms, because you'll get caught with that as well. But all in all of the enemies that we faced so far have been pretty easy to dispatch. That's just bones. Okay, I think I'll head back inside. Have a look in the barrels, make sure we're not missing anything. It's always handy to come across some extra health. And I'm just deciding whether I want to check out that cave now. I think I will. So these are similar to the beetles that we saw outside, but they do seem a little bit faster, and I think they take an extra hit or two to get down. And as you've seen from the video, I'm not a fantastically skilled gamer. I just enjoy playing, so you don't have to be great to play this game. Like anything, you just have to figure out how the enemies work, all that kind of thing, give it some time. I don't think the game is particularly difficult, but in saying that, we have only at the minute played the first section. It does get harder, especially when you come across the skeletons. So it's important to pick up all the gear that you can come across, save up on your health and your remedies, and this will be handy now before we go back into the mine to pick all these up. Glad I came in here now. Now, I have played this game before, but it's been quite a while, and I don't have the best memory, so in some parts it's almost like playing it for the first time. But there are some games, like favorite games, that I've played so many times that you'd know it like the back of your hand. Another great one is Summoner on the PlayStation 2. Summoner and Summoner 2, I really like those ones. The first one is like this, kind of has a dark aesthetic. It's pretty slow paced. Fantastic story behind it, definitely an all-time favourite. I'd recommend checking that one out too. I'm just going to avoid these for the minute. Quick save again. And I'm going to have a look through my inventory for what we got off that girl up at the house. She gave us a firestone and we have mastered magic, so we now have a fireball that we can use. So we'll go into the magic or equipment, down to magic, swap over to ball of fire, and that will one shot the big slime, so it's much handier than going in without. We have some more poison slime to get through. And we got another earthstone. So now we can go into the poisoned part of the shaft. And we're going to get poisoned regardless whether we get hit by the slime, because the area itself is poisoned. So I'm glad that we picked up those extra remedies. They'll come in handy. So you can see the green there, that's indicating that the area itself is poisoned, not just the slime. So chances are we're going to get poisoned, yep, as soon as we walk in. We'll just try to make our way through very quickly before our health is diminished. Okay, so this is our big slime. Press triangle, we'll throw a fireball at it, we'll cure ourselves really quick, and we're going to jump down into the water so we can grab the second soul stone, which we need for our second NPC. The one that we made a deal for trading for the vial, so I see it down there. Let's just grab it real quick if we can. And just try to run back out as quick as possible. I'm going to make sure that I have it, so I'm happy out. And at this point I'm poisoned again, so I think I'm just going to run very fast out of there and avoid the rest of those altogether. And before I leave, even though it's unlikely, I'm going to check for another Earthstone, because now that I've opened up that shaft, there's a possibility that he will be dead the next time that we visit the mine. We're going to find our way back to the ladder. There we are. And once we get him, we're finished up in here. And if you watched to the end, thank you so much. This was my first video where I was doing commentary. I've never spoken in any of my videos before, so let me know what you thought. Hopefully I'll get better with a bit of practice, and let me know if you enjoyed hearing about the story behind the game, or what else you'd like to hear in any future videos. Thanks so much.